All right. Well, it's good to be back. I was going to make an email last Sunday night that we weren't going to be on, but I was traveling, so I couldn't actually make the email. So the last 2 weeks we were out of the country and in Trinidad, which was an amazing experience, and for our family and to go out and do what God called us to do into the different nations and things like that. So that's what we were doing, and now we're back. But March was a crazy whirlwind month for us. We had a lot going on, and but yeah, now we're back for a little bit. So it's good to be back here at our house in Florida, which we moved into, I think, mid like February. We were here for about a week and a half. We left for Pennsylvania. We stayed up there for a month and um came home for 4 days and left for Trinidad for a week. So we really didn't get to spend much time in our house. So now we're here and had a nice Easter. Hopefully you guys had an amazing Easter, and probably a lot of you had ham and eggs for breakfast. So with all the leftovers, but I know we had a great Easter and had some family over. So hopefully you guys had that. So what I want to go over today is kind of like, how to be successful in the business. I know it's kind of cliche, like, oh, it's what you go over every week. We want to know how to be successful, but really, what I've noticed in this business is that if it is to be, it's up to me. And so, what are you doing today for your business? What are you personally doing each and every day to grow your business, to grow your team? Are you making goals? And what I see is that there's a lot of different levels of um I guess engagement in the Vollara business, because this is not a job. I was talking to a guy yesterday and he says, yeah, it's some people get it and some people don't. Some people in the business get it, um, that this is like you have to be self-motivated, you have to go out and do things to make your business grow. And some people just don't get it, right? Because I think a lot of folks are, used to having a job where you go in and your boss says, hey, this is what you have to do. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And with Vollara, there's nobody reaching over your shoulder saying, hey, this is what you have to do. And if you don't do, you get, if you don't do these certain things, you're not going to get fired. But what it is if you're not in a position to receive, then you could miss out on something really big, just because you're not engaged. And I see that happening, and I see it, I see both sides of the coin. I see people who are extremely engaged and they're not missing anything, and everything that comes down the line for them, they're receiving. Because how I see it is because when I see orders come through, I see the free stuff that the company's given to a lot of you guys, which is huge, which means that you're actively out there growing your business, and then the company's rewarding you because of that. And so I can see that, and then I see other people who don't understand the compensation plan, and they're missing out on some really big stuff. So really the key is that if it is to be, it's up to me. So what are you doing today? I look at my March. We had a really big March. We had a great January. February was slow, but our March was good. And what changed between February and March was everything that we did. It's like, what did you personally do to go out and drive your business? How many people did you personally recruit? How much new activity are you bringing into your business? Because really, in a business like this, it's not a typical network marketing residual income business where, man, if I build it once, I'm done for the rest of my life. Or if I make gold, that I can just ride the gold roller coaster for the rest of my life. And it's not the case. Like, you have to build with intention, and you have to constantly be building and adding new people to your team if you ever want to be successful in the business. We can't live on what we did yesterday or what we did last year, what we did the year before. It doesn't work like that. Is there life that pops up in the things that you built 2 years ago? Sure. But the problem is that if you're not consistently building, then what you lose out on is that being in a position to receive when the time comes to receive. That's what you'll miss out on. Okay. So what I'm going to encourage people to do is make a goal, figure out what it is you want to do this year. One of the things that popped up at the beginning of this year, last 2 years ago or last year, we went to Vail, and it was probably one of the best rewards trips I'd been on. Vollara is very, very weak when it comes to recognition and awards and things like that, which some companies, that's all that they do. I mean, like, their product's no good, the compensation plan's no good, but everybody gets a pin and a pat on the back. And with Vollara, nobody gets that. I mean, it's like, it's very weird how they do their business, like they'll, whatever, I'm not going to go there. But when they do a rewards trip, it's like everything that they never did is on a 1 week thing. It's like, man, all the recognition you never got, you get it. All the rewards you never got, you get them. You know, the spotlight that was never there, all of a sudden it's there. And so when I went to Vail, was like, man, if everybody could experience a trip like Vail, it would literally change the tide of everyone's business. Like if you could have been in Vail to experience what we experienced, like it's just like that coming together of the Vollara and the Eris teams, which is okay, but it's that daily rewarding and taken care of, and the recognition and all those things that say, man, this thing it's different than anything I'd ever done before. I mean, I've been on rewards trips before, and I've been to the Bahamas and all these different places with companies. But what I loved about Vollara is how they really, it's like they take everything that they haven't done and they pack it into that 1 week, and it's an amazing experience. So whenever I saw that this next trip, now Miami popped up, and I wasn't into Miami. Like I looked at the trip and I said, hey, I mean, I could drive to Miami. We live in Tampa. So I never really got excited about Miami. And I think that the rewards there would be great. But to me personally, it didn't catch my attention. But then when they announced this new trip, right, where it's, to go back to the birthplace of the company, the 100-year, whatever it is, 100-year anniversary, and to go to places I've never been to, and to see that they've extended the time and it's 2 different cities. And so like, I was like, man, that's something that I really would want to be a part of. I mean, how many of you would want to go and be rewarded to, like literally like they're going to pay for your airfare, they're going to pay for your food, they're going to pay for your hotels. It's going to be, and the fact of the matter is, if they're flying you to Copenhagen, Denmark, and Stockholm, Sweden, they're paying for they're giving you a flight voucher coming out and a flight voucher coming back. They're not saying you have to go out on this date and come back on this date. So like you can make this thing into the vacation of your lifetime, right? Because what's the most expensive part about going to Europe is the airline ticket, right? So why not book it a week before and then leave a week after and spend 3 weeks in an amazing destination? So that's what I looked at. And I said, okay, this is something that I want to go after. Now, I didn't want to go after Miami. I mean, to be honest, I could care less about it. And what I really focused on in the last year was my team, and I said, how much can I do to grow my team? So we spent almost all of 2022 in your houses, most of you, doing healthy home shows, right? So we spent a lot of our personal time building other people's teams for really not much of a benefit financially to myself. So, I mean, hey, we said, look, we're going to go out. I can't host but one, right? So I can only host one HHS. So we focused on, in 2022, we said, let's go out and build other people's teams and put fire under the people under us, right? And we got a lot of good growth out of that. And then when this year flipped to 2023, I started to look at and say, man, the problem right now I'm seeing is that all the healthy home showcases, besides a few, were ones that Christine and I were actually doing. And I wasn't seeing the duplication. I saw some people up in Pennsylvania doing it, and a few people in Florida doing it, but not like overall. Like if there was an HHS that I wasn't there, it was pretty few and far between, right? Some of you guys caught the fire, you were using the video, but what I saw is most people weren't, it wasn't duplicating, right? So I said, that's it. This year, I'll do HHSs if they come up, but my focus now is on new growth. My focus now is to say, okay, who out there hasn't heard about this, and what places haven't I been to, right? And what opportunities haven't we tapped into yet? And so this year, 2023, has been my focus is on building. It's on this is a building year for me. And it's a twofold, right? So when you go out and you build fresh, let's say you were a gold, okay, at one point in this business. Let's say you achieve gold. You're never going to stay a gold unless you're building new. I mean, if you look at the criteria for maintaining gold, a percentage of your numbers or getting the car bonus or any of these things have to come from new life. You need new life to come into your business on a monthly basis. If you're not building, you're dying. Like if you're not going forward, you're going backwards in this business. This business doesn't have a spot where you grow to, you put the brakes on, and then you live at that place for the rest of your life. If you're not building, you're going backwards. If you're not adding new life, you're dying. That's the facts in a business like this. It's the constant, steady growth in your business, right? So I saw it. I'm like, man, we've got to shift gears. And I saw it as twofold. One is I want to win the trip, right? But the other one is that I saw a shift in the economics of our country, right? So you start to see that things are changing from people having excess, and 3-4 years ago, to now people are getting nervous about where's my money going, right? Maybe you're still making the same amount of money, but your money's not going as far as it used to go. So what we saw is a trend changing in the way people were doing things, right? So why build new people? Because now I can offer people a business opportunity, right? As opposed to trying to take the money from the person. So what does that mean? That means that I can make a sale, which is great. You can go out and you can make a sale. You can do wholesale to retail all day long, or you can convert that person into a business partner, right? And when you make the conversion to a business partner, number one is you give it to them at the best value, but now you're bringing new life and new opportunity into your business. There's people who are going to join your business who never would have joined your business 2-3 years ago because money was too good. Times were too good. Their job was too good, right? Now you fast forward to where we're at today. All of a sudden they're like, man, I could use some extra money, right? I could use a better opportunity. My job used to be great, but man, the money I'm making just doesn't go as far as it used to go anymore, right? And so when you offer people a new, say, look, when we did our last trade show in Pittsburgh, it was the first trade show, I believe, that where we actually did all of it, right? Normally I do wholesale to retail and I get leads, right? So normally it's a wholesale to retail show and leads. This was the first show where I literally sat in the booth and signed people up in my business on big packs. The first time I can't ever remember, and Christina maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember us ever focusing on something like that at a show. But I saw a trend, I saw a shift. I said, man, things are changing. And to have people who were literally walking away from us because they couldn't afford what they wanted, to pull them back in and say, why don't you partner with me and get everything that you want? And then open up that sphere of influence and open up that network, right? And so we did the show at the church here in January, had a bunch of new people join the business. We did the show in March. And what we saw was our numbers in January were big, right? Our pay from January was a nice big pay. And then February, I wasn't actively out there building and growing. We were closing on a house, we were moving, we were traveling, and our numbers dropped. And the reason why is because I wasn't doing much. Then March, we said, hey, we had a trade show booked, 10 days at a trade show, doing HHSs, hitting the people's houses, making phone calls. And I saw March go from nothing to, man, March is a great month, right? And what the difference between February and March is what were we personally out there doing? What were we encouraging our team to go out there and do? When people lead, whenever you're out in front, they don't lead whenever you're in the back, cheering people on. Hey, go do it, go do it, go do it. No, they lead because they see you out there doing it. That's what leadership is. Leadership is being in the front and then turn around and say, okay, who's going to come with me, right? And so anyway, so we started to shift our way of thinking. And what I saw is like, okay, great. Is this trip achievable, right? Well, one of the biggest ways to get points on the new trip is by personally sponsoring people on a pack. And then every time that person buys a pack, you get another point. You only need 50 points. So half of your points are going to come from your TQV or team volume. So let's say you have a team volume of, I think it's 200,000 for your first year out is minimum, 200,000. So you have to break that out. What is that per month? Is it 20,000 a month or whatever on average? So 18,000 a month or whatever. So if you're going to use that portion of your points, because that gets you 25 of your 50 points just on that side of it. You can do it that way. Or you could say, man, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a couple of things. One is I'm going to bring people in on the free nutrition, which I think you have to bring in 5 in a month to get 1 point. Okay, so you could focus on that, but you can get, I think it's like it caps out at like so many points a month. That's it. Like you can get, I think that's maximum of 12 points you can pull out of that. But then there's this unlimited side where I can bring in as many people as I want on a pack. And every time that person buys a pack throughout the year, that's an extra point. I mean, you could get 50 points just by doing that if you switched your focus today. Now you say, oh, but Mark, it's already, what is this? April. We're in the middle of April already. I missed the first 4 months. I've only got 1 point. Guess what? You can do it. You can do it. I mean, it's not that difficult for you if you make a mental shift. You could do it in the last 4 months of this year if you really, really pushed hard and said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to win this thing. I'm going to track my points. I'm going to see where am I at, right? But if it is to be, it's up to me. You're not going to win a trip because of somebody you sponsor in your team. It's not going to happen. You can't say, well, I'm going to go out and do it, or I'm going to hit a big deal, man. I'm going to go out, I'm going to crush this big deal. You're not going to win a trip. You're not going to get a trip because somebody in your downline gets a big deal. Okay? It's not going to happen. You're not going to get a trip because, whatever. I mean, you could look at this thing and you could say, oh, because of what I did 3 years ago, I'm going to win a trip. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen based on what you determine to do today and from today till the end of the year. Okay. And that's going to require personal effort to say, okay, what can I do today that I didn't do yesterday? Who can I call today that I didn't call yesterday? It's grit, it's drive, it's determination. Okay. And so, can you do it? That is up to you to answer. I'm going to say each and every one of you can do it, or you wouldn't be on the call today, right? You wouldn't be here plugging in if you couldn't physically go out and do it, right? This is a real business with a real paycheck. Like it is a real business with a real pay. Are you treating it like that? I mean, how many of you have got jobs that you go to, right? Where your boss says, okay, I want you to work 40 hours a week and I want you to do these tasks every day and call these people or do whatever. I don't know what you do, right? That's if I'm a car salesman, I don't make a pay unless I sell a car, right? If you're a doctor, you don't get paid unless you have patients. If I'm a dentist, I don't get paid if people don't come into my office. So what are you going to do to drive people into your business? What are you going to do to go out there? Are you going to run Facebook ads? Are you going to get to go do little trade shows? Are you going to go to networking events to pull people into your business? Are you going to work really hard for a business that you don't even own? Maybe your boss sends you out on business trips to meet new people and to explore new markets. Hey, I had a friend who he did sales. And he was constantly, I'm like, bro, you should do the business with us. You're already doing this stuff anyway. You're calling on companies, you're meeting people, and it's all from the house, right? Well, guess what? Whenever the business determined that they were going to reorganize, he wasn't a part of their future. But with this business, nobody's going to reorganize it. This is us. This is my business. I own it, right? So the only reorganization is me just deciding I don't want to go out and do it today. Where with most businesses, they can just flip a switch on you. So if it's a real business with a real opportunity to make real live money, like I'm talking real money that you've never made in your entire life money. I mean, I got people, somebody on my team, this month will probably make more money than, it's just huge. Like, literally when you see the opportunity that's coming down, with these school deals and different things like that, there's schools and there's hospitals and there's all these things out there that you can tap yourself into, right? But are you actually going to go out and do it? If I told you I'm going to pay you $100,000 this year to work your Vollara business, what would change? But I need to see results. I need to have you texting me every day, calling me every day, sending me reports of who you talked to, where you went. I need you to do so many meetings a month or I'm going to fire you. I'm going to literally go in, I'm going to terminate your account. You don't make a dime. How much different would you work if I told you I'm going to pay you $100,000 this year, but these are things that you need to do? You need to plug in. You need to be involved. You need to be showing the business. You need to make so many appointments every day. How much more involved would you be for that type of income? I could guarantee you most of you would be like, oh man, I would definitely stay. If you put me on a salary right now, to make $100,000, oh man. And I said, hey, listen, Dave, sorry, I need you to work this show, man. You got to show up. Amanda, hey, look, I know you need a break, but you don't get a break. You got to work Monday through Friday for me. That's it. You don't work, you don't show up, you don't get paid. You got to go find yourself another job. If the shoe flipped and it was like that, how much of an effort would you put out? And anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. So my son, who's 9 years old, got an idea that he wants to buy a watch. Okay, so he wants to buy he's a watch guy. I'm not a watch guy, but he's a watch guy. He's into it, right? He bought himself an Invicta watch for Christmas. Now he wants another watch. This watch costs $3,000. He really wants it. He studied it. He knows all the movements and the rubies and the rose gold and all this stuff, and he knows everything about this thing. Like he's determined that he's getting it. I'm believing God to get me this watch, and he's really believing it, right? So guess what? After a while, man, we came home and he's like, Dad, I want to go sell Vollara door to door in our neighborhood. And I'm like, listen, man, it's not going to be easy for you. First of all, like our neighborhood is small, it's gated, right? And there's a big sign that says no soliciting. And I said, but if that's something you're determined to do, I'm not going to discourage you from going out and trying. But I said, why don't you make cake pops? Because he used to have a cake pop business, and he did really good with it. I said, why don't you go back to something that make some cake pops and go door to door. And so he did. He made cake pops. He went out the first day, sold half, but what I saw in him was determination. Like Christina would text me and say, oh man, Gianni's like, he's struggling today. Nobody's saying yes. And like, if most of us would quit, it's hot, man. It's 90 degrees. It's Florida weather, right? It's humid. People are telling you no. Doors aren't answering. You can hear people in there talking, but they're not coming out. And everything in you would say, just give up. But not him. No, he kept going. Well, and then he wouldn't want to come in until the whole entire thing was sold. And he sold everything. And then he comes back. He's like, but Dad, I want to sell the Vollara machines. I want to sell the Vollara machines because if I can just sell 3 of them big machines, I can make the money to buy my watch. So I said, why don't you start with the smaller stuff? So he goes out, he sells a mobile unit, right? So he makes $100. Well, all of a sudden things start to shift. Well, that's where the money's at. So next thing I know, I see him going down the street with his wagon, with a mobile unit and a personal unit and a pet refresh. He wants to take the big one out, So I'm like, bro, I said, we're not there yet. I mean, you're asking the neighbor guy to spend 50, but then he gets out the credit card reader. He takes Cash App. He's 9, guys. What's our excuse? What's our excuse when a 9-year-old won't give up?
He did the flip book.
And he took the flip book. Yeah, flip book, door to door. And he knows his material inside and out. He's 9 years old. Okay. That's grit. That's drive. That's determination. Set a goal. What does he want? He wants a watch. How much is the watch? $3,000. How many units does he have to sell? 3. Will he get it? Yeah, he'll get it. I mean, I know he'll get it. I mean, I could say, oh, I'll just buy you the watch, your birthday's coming up. No, man, I'm not buying that watch. He's buying it. He'll earn it. He's going to do whatever it takes. He's on that whatever it takes plan. He gets frustrated. And then the other day when he made a sale, I was like, bro, you just made a sale. Congratulations. He's like, what do you think I'm going to quit? You think I'm just going to quit after one sale? Do you think that that's all that I can do is just one sale? No, I got to go out. I got to make that deal. I got to make more deals. If we could all think like that, where would our business be today? Go back to where there's no fear, like there's boldness, right? There's power in boldness. There's power in it. When you're bold to say, man, I will get this deal, then the phone becomes a lot lighter. You pick up the phone and you'll call anybody, right? Hey, I'm scared to call that guy. I'm scared to call that school. What happens if they tell me no? What about all these leads? Man, we got show leads. I have people come work shows with me. They take leads. I don't think half the people ever make a phone call. I really don't. You take home a stack of leads and it's like, how do you not convert one person into a sale? When you have people who come to you who are excited about what you have, what are you doing that it's not converting these people into a sale? What's going on, right? It's maybe you're just scared to call the people. Man, I don't want to call them. I don't want to bother people. They'll think it's a scam. They think it's a gimmick. It's too expensive. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. And what you're doing is you're talking yourself out of it. We were watching Creed. I've never seen the movie Creed, right? I was like, oh, I want to watch this movie because I knew that part 3 came out. And I said, I never even saw part 1. And I love the part where, have you ever seen it, where Rocky tells him, hey, the guy in the mirror is your biggest opponent. Well, that's the same from boxing as it is to life, right? So the person who you're facing is not the person you're trying to sell. It's not these obstacles. It's you. If we could get ourselves out of the way and say, okay, I'm willing to do whatever, I'm on the whatever it takes plan, and I'm going to win no matter what. The first person you have to defeat is this guy right here. I have to get up in the morning and determine that, like, this is going to be a day. No matter how much easier is it just do absolutely nothing. That's why COVID ruined people, because they said, man, we're going on a lockdown, and people got excited about it. Oh, we're getting locked down. We don't have to leave the house. I can wear pajamas all day. That's the way people thought. I felt like that for the first 2 weeks, man. When they said 14 days and I was going to get paid, they're going to give you a big check in the mail from the government, and I don't have to go nowhere. But what I realized is it's killing people, right? It takes everything that makes us who we are, and it destroys it. Because why? Because there's no drive anymore. And then what does your life boil down to now? Oh, I'm just going to sit around and wait on the next check to roll in. No, man. And that's the biggest problem in network marketing. See, network marketing, when the mentality is I'm going to build this big, massive team, and I'm going to quit working, and I'm going to go get my beach money, my mailbox money. And then what happens is your business will die. Why? Because you're not out physically working it on a day-to-day basis. Are you physically going to go out and work your business? Are you going to make something happen every day, right? And when you can do it, and you can be the one who's running and driving and making things happen, then you'll achieve every goal that you ever wanted. When you're willing to go out and knock doors in Florida, 90-degree weather, with people slamming the door in your face, when your dad telling you, hey, man, this thing ain't going to work. Like, I'm not trying to discourage him, but I say there's a more excellent way, right? There's better things that we can do. But no, I'm bound and I'm determined that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to win. And nobody can stop me. I will be and write it down. I will be in Copenhagen, Denmark, and wherever the other place is, Sweden, next year with Vollara, and they're going to roll out the red carpet for me, and I'm going to get a big plaque, like we got this nice plaque here. This is, I can't even see it. Congratulations on winning Vail. I want one of those. I want the platinum 5-star ambassador plaque to hang up on my wall, right? If for anybody, it's just for the fact that I'm alive, right? And I got blood flowing through my veins, and I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to give up. And I'm going to prove it to the world that I'm a winner. That's it. That's what we need. We don't need to lay back and just, oh man, I made it to Platinum 5 ambassador. Now I can quit, right? I can just give up. I don't need to recruit anybody. I got a team of 2,000 people. Let them go out and do all the work. I'm just going to travel and enjoy my life. No, I work harder now than I did on my first month in the business. I work harder now than I did my first year in the business. It's just different types of work, right? It's like you start to see, like, where am I good? Where am I going to become a specialist at in Vollara? And that's where you run to. Don't try to play everything, right? I got people who like, man, I'm going to do wholesale retail, and they smash big deals, and all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm going to be a team builder. No, man, if you're killing it on wholesale to retail, then kill it on wholesale to retail. Stay in that lane. Focus on where you're having your success. Don't try to all of a sudden be like, well, I'm going to be a team builder. No, if you want to be a team builder, go out and build a massive team. If you want to do a hybrid like we do, we're out hitting it, doing trade shows every once in a while, doing HHSs, doing personal selling, but then you're team building, then go do that, right? But if you've determined, I'm going to do shows, I'm going to I'm going to sell schools, I'm going to sell hospitals, then that's where you focus on. Just go out and win, right? You win. You go out and you win. How are you going to do it? You're going to make 1 million phone calls. You're going to say, listen, I got the greatest technology to ever come down the pike. This stuff is next level. It's next level, right? If anybody should have this sale, it should be me, nobody else, right? And you're doing it every day, every day, every day. You're putting in the effort, right? You're making the phone calls, you're making the connections, you're calling the people, you're owning it. This is my business, right? You're not double-minded. The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? So you got to say, I'm in. I'm not in today and go out tomorrow. This is it. I've determined, I'm bound, I'm determined. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to win, right? And when you do it, guess what? You're going to do it. When you've literally made up your mind and said, I'm going to win in this game, and you write that goal down and you say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to write it down. And then you achieve it. How much greater is it at the end of the day when you walk into that room in Copenhagen, Denmark, and you know, and there's the reception desk, and there's all the leaders, and there's all the winners, and you're you know, you got to picture yourself in that spot. My son, I can guarantee you, sees himself wearing that watch, right? He knows what he's already put it on. Like, he's already gone, he's worn it, he's had himself with pictures of it. He's in it, right? So when you put yourself in a place of being a winner, you know, and showing yourself, man, this is what I can do. When we were in Trinidad, they let us do a testimony, and I was talking about mixing your faith, right? Every man is given a measure of faith, but you have to mix it with something. It has to be mixed. Faith on its own, and I said, it's like flour, right? You know, you get flour, not a flower, but flour. But then if I take just plain old flour and try to eat it, it's really no good. You know, what can you do with regular flour unless it's mixed with something? So your faith on its own is good, but it has to be mixed with something. So what can it be mixed with? Well, faith without works is dead. So number one, you got to work it. But number two is you mix it with when you hear the story of the other person who did what you want to do. That's what you mix it with. You say, man, if that person can go knock doors in 90-degree weather, that 9-year-old boy can go out and do it, I can do it. You take your faith, you mix it with his testimony, you put the two together, and you start to see results. It's faith, testimony, works coming together, and then results come out of it, right? When you hear this, why do we tell the stories? Why do I think that Vollara needs to do more recognition? Is because when you hear the story, and it's a real story about somebody who went out and did it. Man, I worked that school deal for 12 straight months, and then it hit, and boom, $400,000 deal comes in. That's a testimony that now Jose can mix his faith with, and he can say, okay, if that person can go out and do it, and they're no different than me, and I've got all these connections, then I can take the faith, because I have my own measurement, and God gave me a measure of faith. I can take that person's testimony. I can realize that it's real, that it's going to happen. I can put the two together, put a little bit of work into it, and I can have it too. That's what God wants for us, each and every one of them. He wants you to be successful. It says in the Bible, he gives you the power to create wealth. It doesn't give you wealth. He gives you the power to create the wealth. He doesn't just say, oh, I'm going to give you a bunch of money. No, he gives you power, faith, mixed with something, mix the two together, come together, right? I'll mix my faith with your faith. Now we can have a double portion of faith, and we can go out and we can win, right? And so that's what I'm going to challenge each of you to do, right? This is it. We have, I don't even know, 12 people on a call. I'd say this every week. Now, some people are going to watch this in the replay, and that's fine. I know it's 11 o'clock. It's a Monday. People still have jobs. They go to school. I get it. I'm not going to get everybody to show up. But I got people on here from California. So what time is it out there? 9 in the morning, 8 in the whatever, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, who are here that are showing up. So out of 2,000 people, 12 came. 12 out of 2,000. But that's all I needed. Jesus conquered the world with 12, right? So I can take the 12 faithful followers, and as a group, we can literally take this message to the entire world. If it's going to happen, if it is to be, it's up to me. It's not up to Mark Alfano to make Dave and Denise successful, right? It's not up to Mark to make Amanda successful or Joyce successful. It's up to Amanda to make Amanda successful, and Joyce to make Joyce successful, right? And Galaxy to make Galaxy successful, right? but like you have to determine it. If it is to be, it's up to me, man. If I can overcome the things that I've overcome in my life up to this point, and I can come out to where I'm at, man, I tell you what, if anybody on this call has an excuse to not be here and present, is Dave, who went through hell with his back, right? We all know the story, right? Most of you do. But you look at somebody who has grit, drive, determination to go out and do a trade show. I even told Dave, called Mark, I want to come work your show. I was like, Dave, save your energy, man. Because I know you have a show coming up. But that's grit, drive, determination. I'm on the whatever it takes plan, plugging into calls, getting together with other leaders, making things happen, guys. Does Dave hit the big deal yet? No. But will he? Sure he will. I mean, I remember Dave working a subway, whatever, remember, with the buses or whatever. Man, this is a guy who goes like, I'm thinking outside of the box. I'm going to make contacts to people that people would never make a contact to. But guess what? Today is your day. You know why? 2 years ago, everybody was calling every school system. Everybody was calling every hospital. Everybody was. The blue light in the furnace guy was calling. The blue light robot, the HEPA filter guy, they were all calling. Guess who's calling now? Nobody. Because the COVID has moved on. People don't even think about it no more, right? Unless you're, I don't know. I mean, like, hey, in Trinidad, people still wear masks. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, there's still people, like maybe up north for some of y'all, maybe out in California, you're still living it, right? But here in Florida, man, nobody cares about the virus anymore. We're on to the next one. We're on to the whatever, the fungus. We left the virus, now we're on to the fungus. Next month it'll be the whatever, the mold. Okay. But nobody's making the calls anymore. So now whenever you call, and think about it, during that pandemic craze, those places were getting bombarded with everybody. And so as a decision maker, I'm in charge of kids, I'm in charge of old people. I have all these things I got to think about, right? So as a decision maker, how do you even make the right decision? I mean, I want to make sure I protect the people, but I got 47 phone calls. Which one's the right one? Is it the HEPA filter? They say it's the best. It captures 99.99999%. Is it the blue light? They say the blue light kills 99.99999. Is it Lysol? Is it rubber gloves? Is it masks? And so they don't know. But now that the smoke is cleared, we can go into these places and we can say, listen, let's go in. Let's test the air in your room. And guess what? Mike was talking on the call. I don't know if any heard Monday night or Tuesday night on Pastor Eric's call about the new device, which I have don't call me and ask me when it's out. I don't know anything about it. I'm in just as much in the dark as you are. Okay. Maybe Dave knows more than I know. I don't know. But anyways, they don't clue me in on this stuff. But supposedly we're going to be able to take a device, put it in somebody's house, and real time through an app on your phone, get an air quality reading to show people exactly what's going on in your air. Is that a powerful tool? Listen, I would go do HHSs. I would put somebody's hand on a Zytos hand scanner, and I would show them what was going on inside of their body, and it was a game changer. You can ask Christina. I mean, how many people came to an HHS who were like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get, a mobile unit. I said, okay, fine. And then we'd put them on a scanner, and you see all the toxicity in their body from laundry, from water, from air, from all this stuff. And guess what? They're leaving with a Pro Pack because they had a wake-up call. So how much more powerful will it be to go into somebody's house with a coupon to say, hey, listen, and when I moved into my house, I got 40,000 postcards about hey, get a free Lowe's gift card for $100. Oh, that's cool. I thought it was just like welcome wagon. Man, like people were going to give me free $100. So I call, hey, I just moved into the neighborhood. I guess this is from Welcome Wagon. I want to get my free $100. And you know what they say? Oh yeah, sure. We need to come out and test your water. What do you mean you want to test my water? Yeah, well, we sell whole house water filtration systems. We want to test your water. And if doesn't matter, no obligation, you still get the $100. Well, I booked one, then I canceled it because I was just going to say, we're test my own living water. I'll convert the person, but I got busy and never did it, right? But they last forever. So imagine now that we can go with a coupon to say there's $100 coupon to have the air quality in your house tested. Do you know anybody with allergies, asthma, mold issues, whatever? No, yeah, my kid, he's got tons of allergies. My wife, she can't sleep at night. My husband snores really loud. My dog pants too much. Okay, great. So we're going to take this little device. I'm going to stick it in the room. And I'm going to show you, meanwhile, while that thing's doing what it does, I'm going to talk to you about the technology. I'm going to show you what we have to offer. We're going to take my cell phone out. Okay, look, this is what's going on in your bedroom. You've got dust, you've got mold, you've got VOCs, you've got this and everything. All right, now let's do this. Let's run the air purifier for about an hour. I'm going to run down to the neighbor's house and do a quick air quality test on that guy. I'll be back. Come back, retest the house, and you can see the before and after results. Okay. Do you think you could sell? Now imagine this. Imagine if Vollara sets up a system to bring you leads, a never-ending supply of leads. Are you willing to go to somebody's house? Are you willing to put an air tester in their house? Are you willing to do a follow-up? You know what that might look like? It might look like having a job. It might look like you have to work. It might look like you might have to set an appointment. But let's rewind back to where I asked you the question. If I told you right now, hey, listen, I'll pay you $100,000 next year if you work this thing like a real business. If that's what it looked like, how many of you are willing to go out and do it? I mean, seriously, guys, set the appointments. You do it whenever you feel like it. I don't care if you hire somebody. Pay a kid $20 an hour to go knock on doors for you. Right? Pay somebody. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, for every house you set me an appointment at that converts, I'll give you $200. Go out and get it. I mean, like, let's be creative with this thing, right? This is a tool that the company is now putting into your hands. Air quality testing tool. I don't even know what this is going to look like, guys. I mean, I'm just dreaming right now, right? Because I heard Mike talk about it. Mike's a salesman. Here's Mike. He's got back problems. He's going into surgery, but yet he gets me fired up, right? When I hear Mike talk, I get fired up. I'm like, man, whatever this thing is going to be, it's going to be Mike could be like, man, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, I'm in, man. What is it? Well, we can go sell. Oh, okay, good. Because I mean, that's what it boils down to, right? Is converting people into a sale. So then you get to the house and the guy's like, oh, Mark, I really want to buy this machine, but I don't have $1,500. Okay, let's go over your options, sir. I can do $99 a month for the next 12 months. Does that work out better for you? No, I don't want to be on an installment plan. Okay, I got a better idea. Why don't you partner with me in the business? You buy 3 of them. Do you think you could give me some referrals that I could go put this in their house, and if they sell, we'll take 2 of your 3 machines and we'll go out and sell them to those people? You think we could do that with some of your referrals, sir? Oh yeah, I think I can do that. And all of a sudden you're starting to build a huge team again. Okay, where there's a will, there's a way. Listen, one thing I know is that if you have the 3 main ingredients, grit, drive, and determination, you can make it all the way to the top. You can go all the way to the top. When I started in Vollara, I didn't know nothing about the technology. I mean, people are like, they'll call me now and say, oh, Mark, can you get on a phone call and talk? I knew nothing. I didn't know how the compensation plan worked, but you know what I did right straight away is I made it my job to learn as much as I possibly could about everything. How did I do that? By studying the compensation plan. You know how many people are going to miss out on huge pays this month because they don't know the compensation plan? You know, people probably ended up throwing away money last month because they didn't understand the compensation plan. A lot. There's some people are going to wake up and look in their Sky Wallet on the 15th and be excited, and other people are going to be like, where's the money at? The difference is some knew and some didn't know. Some understood the plan, others didn't understand the plan. I made it my point to know the plan. Why? Because this is my business, right? The other thing is I didn't know much about the technology. So I set out, just like my son, who's 9 years old, he knows the technology. He'll tell you about hydroxyls, and he'll tell you about, hydrogen and the smallest molecule and how they pierce the outer shell. And he'll tell you about the honeycomb matrix and the doping. He'll tell you about outer space. He'll tell you about the potatoes in the space. He knows all of it. He'll take you to the machine. He flips the switch, smoke comes out. He tells you about positive, negative ions. He can tell you about the water and why you need to have alkaline water and how alkaline's better than. 9 years old, guys. Why? Because he hears me do it. He's a student of the student. He'll tell you about the watch he wants to buy with the ruby and the rose gold and the movements and this thing and that thing. And like, because a lot of times I'm like, man, it's just he's 9 years old. What's he need a $3,000 watch for? But when you hear him talk about it, he's an expert on it. He ought to be selling the thing, right? So what's the difference between him and most of us is that he's determined to win. He's determined to get to his goal. And most people are not determined. Most of us, if we're honest, would love to go back to the lockdown. Let me put my pajamas on, right? Let me watch soap operas and collect a big fat check. Most people have that mentality. That's why communism is so attractive to people. That's why socialism is so attractive to people. But they don't realize it sucks the life out of them. We just got back from Trinidad. Trinidad is being overrun by Venezuelans. Why? Because they hate communism. They bought it. Now they hate it. And they can't get out of it. Right? So I'm not saying that if you don't go out and sell Vollara, you'll be communist. But all I'm saying is that what we have inside of us is this determination to be bigger and better, to grow, to go places we've never been before, to do things we've never done before. We got a short. The Bible says your life is just about a vapor. That's it. It's like it's gone. It's just like a vapor. You look, I got time hop, and it's a thing on my phone where I can go back and I can see where I was this day. And it seems like I told Christina, I said, wow, it's crazy because now Gianni's with us further and further and further. It used to be, I go back 3 years and there's your baby, right? Now it's 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, going on 10 years on my time hop, and there he is. Then I go back to like when I owned my restaurant 25 years ago. Where does it go? Are you going to just sit back at the end of your life and say, man, I wish I would have done that? Man, because everybody gets an opportunity. Maybe once, maybe twice. Everybody gets an opportunity in their lifetime, right? Most of us get one. Some of us get 2 or 3, right? This could be the one. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you gonna run with this thing like with a passion and a fire and grit, drive, and determination? Or are you just gonna watch it go by? And you're gonna look back on it years from now and say, oh man, Kim made a big giant school deal. She did great. I remember when that happened. And I remember when Mark made Platinum 5 and won the trip to whatever. That was cool because I got to look at his pictures and stuff. Or are you gonna be there with us? Am I going to be able to land the airplane in Copenhagen and have Denise and Dave in the seat next to me? Is that going to happen? Well, the only person that can make it happen is them. Is Amanda going to be on board with us there? Is Jose coming along? Is Brian going to be there? I don't know. Because that's up to them. But guess what? There's an empty seat. There's an empty room in Copenhagen with your name on it if you want it. Right? Who's going to make 6 figures next year? Hey, some of you go, man, I only got 2 people on my team. None of them do anything. Well, tell that to Kim. Worked an entire year on one deal and will make more money than some people make in a lifetime. Seriously. I mean, to have a deal come through that pays you 2, 3, 4 years salary, and some people's, on the average salary, to make a 4-year pay in a one deal. Can it happen for you? Yes. Can it happen overnight for you? Absolutely. Can it happen if you don't do any work? No, not at all. All right. So anyways, guys, I'm going to cut it short. Here's my challenge once again. Go out and do it. Just do it. Make a goal, write it down. It's like the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, put it on tablets so that even if you're running, you can still read it. So what's your vision for 2023? What are your goals for 2023? How many of your goals have you already checked off your list, right? For 2023. How many countries do you want to visit in 2023? How many places do you want to see in 2023? How many awards do you want to win in 2023? How many lives do you want to impact in 2023? How much debt do you want to pay off in 2023? Right? You want to be out of debt. You want your house paid off. I just bought a house. I want to have it paid off. Right? I mean, well, you can't do that. It's a 30-year mortgage. No, I can do it. Because if I determine that this is it, man, that I'm going to have this place paid off, I did it last year with my car. I said, I got $25,000 on my car. I'm paying it off this year. Boom. Come December, it was zero due. Why? Because I determined it. I just determined it. I said, I'm going to do it. How many are you going to do it? Right? How many are you going to go out and win this week? What's your faith from this Monday to next Monday? Don't put it off, guys. Don't sit there and say, okay, great. By January of 2024, I'm going to be this. I'm gonna sell that machine that I've had in my garage for 4 months. No. What are you gonna do between now and next Monday? Because that's how it's gonna happen for you. What are you willing to do today? What's gonna happen between now and the close of today? How many calls are you gonna make between now and the close of today? How many emails are you gonna send out? How many schools are you gonna start trying to figure out who to contact? Don't just randomly call some school, but who do you know who knows somebody, knows somebody, knows somebody, knows somebody on a school board that you can get a meeting with? Who do you know knows somebody, knows somebody, knows somebody who can get you into a nursing home? Man, and I'm excited about this new air tester thing because it's just another tool. But don't wait for it. Don't say, man, come March, what is it, May 31st, they're releasing. No, like start now. What are you going to do between now and next week? Take it, write it down, make your goal, make it plain, and then achieve it. Congratulations to each and every one of you who hit your goals for March. March was a great month for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. I looked at the numbers, and a lot of guys hit a lot of big numbers, and we did really well. And so March was a phenomenal month. But guess what? That's over now. What's going to happen this week? What's going to happen in April? And I'm excited for you because I know big things are coming. So, anyways, that's it. We love you guys. We're praying for you for huge success for this year. That the year's just getting started. I can't wait to see who's all coming on board with us to Copenhagen and who's going to experience of a lifetime. If you're with me, can't wait to be there with you. And if you have any questions, give me a call. If it's about the new air stuff, I have no idea about it, so don't waste your time. But anyways, love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.